The year 1994 was another watershed year for video games. While both the Sega Saturn and the Sony PlayStation saw release in Japan, with the international release coming the following year, and began a tough little arms race that lasted for years, not decades to come, 16-bit consoles still have miles left in the tank. Many memorable games debuted that year for both the Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis, the latter console being the home for our subject today. Let's talk about the impact of Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Knuckles. The game was so big in scope that the base Genesis cartridge contained the base game of Sonic 3, first released in the US on February 2 that year, with other countries following throughout the year. Sonic and Knuckles, released on October 18th that year in most regions, with the exception of Australia, on November 19th. The game also pioneered lock-on technology, was functionally that time period's equivalent of post-launch DLC. Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 and the many of Street Fighter 2 are also good examples. There was also an extensive marketing campaign with numerous TV spots and a McDonald's collab. The video will be largely based on Sonic 3 and Knuckles, which is the complete version of the game. The story picks up right where Sonic 2 left off, with the Death Egg being defeated and Dr. Eggman, or Robotnik as he was called at the time, tricking future mainstay Knuckles the Echidna into thinking Sonic and Tails are after the Chaos Emeralds. There are also Super Emeralds to collect as well, and we'll come back to those later. The Emeralds are collected in isometric special stages. While they are quite tricky to master, collecting the blue spheres actually makes a great pseudo 3D scaling rotation effect even without the console's add-ons. There's also 3 different kinds of bonus stages which are rank in ascending order of favorites. Climbing balls of electricity, a combination of the rotating stages in the first and the slot machines in the second, and the Gastropon / Gumball machine. Let's get into the main stage proper. Zone 1 is the Angel Island zone where the attack begins. The robots set the whole stage on fire, and also does a good job introducing you to the game's new shield types: Fire, Thunder, and Aqua / Bubble. That last one is especially useful for underwater sections and stages, as it allows you to breathe without having to swallow air bubbles. There's even a shield which can be activated by pressing jump button twice in midair. Outrunning the bomber in Act 2 was always tricky for me at first, but I've gotten better over time. Win against the Egg Scorcher Mark III, and we clear the stage. Zone 2 is Hydro City Zone. I've heard it pronounced as both 2 words and as one that rhymes with atrocity. I tend to go for the former. One thing I can't agree on is that the music is absolutely fantastic in this stage, especially in Act 2. Top of his 16 sound staff, including Jun Sonoe, was something of an open secret about the work done by a certain King of Pop, and then an urban legend was later confirmed, much like the Atari games debuted in New Mexico. Skull, I understood the reference. The Marble Garden Zone is Zone 3, and of all the stages influenced by Overgrown Ruins, this might actually be my favorite. The music and the amount of different ways to reach the end of the stage are especially great. Zone 4 is the Carnival Night Zone, home to both the cheery circus music theme and the infamous Barrel of Doom in Act 2. Because I weren't able to fix everything before the game shipped, the man referred to some of these as the Doctor's Tricks. The Ice Cap Zone is Zone 5. We board a snowboard down a mountain and contend with array of boulders you ride through ice walls and springboards to reach higher areas. The verticality is challenging but fun. This is a major thread running through this game and others that came out in the franchise's early days. Zone 6 is a launch-based zone which will close out the Sonic 3 portion of this review. The main objective is stopping Eggman from relaunching the Death Egg. The second half focuses on Sonic and Knuckles and a whole new set of challenges. First up is the Mushroom Hill Zone, and while Eggman may be down, he is not out. After facing Robotic Lumberjack Hey-Ho and the Spiked Egg Scrambler, the second part of our quest has begun. Next is the Flying Battery Zone. Yes, the aircraft from before is back, and now it's an entire fortress to get through. The amount of moving parts and ways you can get to the end makes it quite an entertaining challenge. They even brought it back in Sonic Mania. The journey continues in the Sandopolis Zone, a vast desert of ancient ruins. And the jumping puzzle navigation are challenging, but fun, as I expect. After leaving Sandopolis, we reach a Lava Reef Zone. While not the first or last stage to have a volcanic motif, it's easily one of the best and has great music. Before working on this game, keyboardist Brad Buxer also did extended session work with like Stevie Wonder, Smokey Robinson, and The Temptations. I want to thank the H. Bomber Guy video, oof.mp4, for letting me know. Buxer also worked with famed Motown producer Bobby Brooks, with Daryl Ross, Jeff Grace, Sirocco Jones, and Doug Grigsby III, rounding out the team. In stages lies a hidden palace zone where the Master Emerald and the Super Emeralds are kept. This also adds another way to get the final stage in this game. Last stage before the final boss is the Sky Sanctuary Zone. On top of the jumping puzzles and teleportation pads, just love the whole Greco-Roman aesthetic of the stage's visuals and music. The stage may be recurring appearances in later games. Once all the emeralds are collected, it's time to face a Death Egg in space. It's a multi-phase final battle, reaching the boss in the Death Egg Zone, facing the upgraded giant Eggman Robo, and a chase through space in the Doomsday Zone. This is also a 3-phase fight, using hypersonic with the emeralds all gathered. First, a chase through rings and meteors. Second is a final weapon in its rocket form. And the third and final form is one less Death Egg robot. Win, and you reclaim the Master Emerald, closing out the original Genesis trilogy on a high note. The game sold over 8 million copies on its original Genesis release alone, and has been re-released periodically over the years. When the most recent Sonic Origins had to make changes to the soundtrack due to rights issues, I am glad I was finally able to beat the game in that version with its enhancements. I even went back and beat its original form via Sonic's Ultra Genesis Collection on PS3. In any form, it's a game I never passed up a chance to revisit, and I'm glad to have shared this with you all. See you all another day, so take care.